Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Jamie Vollmer. My wife and I have been friends with the Malloys for many years. That relationship deepened when we became neighbors. And I am profoundly honored to have been asked to guide the proceedings today. And if I had trouble with that sentence, we're in trouble. The program has been organized to celebrate Justin's life and capture its essence. You will hear family, friends, and loved ones speak of his intellect, his wit, his loving nature, and his many strengths. We're not in a rush to complete this memorial. Having said that, we are going to follow the program that the family has carefully designed. I know, believe me, I know that the love and affection so many of you feel is genuine, deep, and at this moment, likely bursting in your chest. That said, I'm going to ask that you hold your thoughts today and share them privately with the family in the days and weeks to come. What we're doing today is old. Scripture and archaeological evidence indicate that this rite has been performed since the very beginning of our existence as a species. I know there are a number of different belief systems in this room: Western, Eastern, and everything in between. I mean, come on, it's Fairfield. We have covered all the bases. On some points, these belief systems diverge. But in every tradition, this moment is deemed holy. A rare moment when the community comes together in both sorrow and celebration. Most of us are sustained in our belief that there is cause for celebration, that a great step has been taken. Many of us have returned to the relevant verses in our scripture. For many in this room, it's chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, which tells us that the dweller in the body is eternal and therefore there is no cause to grieve. John 14:27 proclaims, "Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." Isaiah 40:11 declares that God gathers the lambs in his arms and carries them close to his heart. The Quran maintains that life in this world is an inseparable part of a continuum, of a unified whole. And so we gather together to be glad and celebrate with and for Justin as he takes this great step. But before we do, before we move to celebration, I think it's honest, I think it's right, I think it's fair to say that this room is filled with broken hearts. I've read every post. I've had dozens of private conversations, and the words, "my heart is broken," is a common theme. That's what makes this moment so important. It's a moment to heal as well as celebrate. To the greatest extent possible, now, right here in this room, we must use this gathering to help one another share and suture together the pieces of our broken hearts. And when we do that and create a wholeness, we will be better able to comfort Ed, Vicki, Kelly, and the entire family in the days and weeks to come. And from that collective strength, we will be able to speed Justin on his way. Justin Malloy was born in Fairfield on August 11th, 1987. He was born in his home with midwife attendance as Dad and young Kelly watched and waited. When Justin arrived at 12:22 p.m., he filled the room with light and joy. It was an easy birth of an easy child who would go on to spread light and joy to everyone he touched. Justin loved his home and family. His first house on B Street bordered Crow Creek and Old Settlers Park, where Justin would lose himself in nature, climbing to the treetops at 3 years old, splashing in the stream and building dams and bridges, catching frogs and dreaming of sailing down the river. Justin adored his sister Kelly, and his confident personality and infectious laugh was cultivated through their lifelong relationship. Justin and Kelly enjoyed their childhood together, and every Saturday morning or family vacation was more enjoyable because they knew how to have fun together. Their bond grew into adulthood, where they at times shared homes together and brought a wide range of new friends into their lives. When they weren't together, there was no separation between them, no matter the physical distance. Justin was close to his mom and dad. Their support and unconditional love for him gave him the assurance that he could accomplish anything. Vicki gave Justin the nickname J-A-I. He loved the name. It translates as all glory, which is how Vicki mothered and related to her son. She was his all-time champion. Justin understood that, and it was cool. Ed loved Justin for his independence and his perseverance to accomplish his goals while taking a different path. Ed taught him the spirit of competition, the value of righteousness, critical thinking, and the nobility of debating honorably. They journeyed to mountaintops, whether climbing or snowboarding, enjoyed exploring cities, and loved college and professional sports. They enjoyed debates at the kitchen table and on long phone calls. Mostly, Ed was just purely proud that he had raised a natural leader who had taught him more than he could ask. Justin was caring and courageous, loving, forgiving, outrageous, and funny. His energy could not be contained. He had an impact on everyone he met. He chiseled his frame into 6'2" of muscle, adorned with radical tats. That's tattoos for some of the geriatric set. He valued lessons he learned growing up about organic foods and herbal supplements and was passionate about their purity and importance to society. He lived and shared his philosophy of spiritual truth, sprinkled with good times and strong friends. He met the woman of his dreams recently in Angelique, and he was in love and happy. Today we're going to hear from some of the many of those who loved him. A life ended so early tends to leave more questions than answers, but today we will celebrate that life that was undoubtedly full and meaningful. There's nothing separating us from Justin today. We are connected by love. So let's give voice to that love. I'd like to call up Vicki and Kelly.
When I first heard of Justin's passing, Ed and I were driving back from Iowa City. I got so angry. I just couldn't contain it. All I could do was pound my fists on the dashboard in the car and just curse God. It was horrible. I was horrible. The whole situation was just too unreal to accept. It went on like this for several days. After my last intense outburst, something came over me. I realized that this person, my son, who I knew as Justin Malloy, he transitioned to a new status in creation. It really hit me hard, but that's like what I was experiencing. That small self Justin was gone. He was no longer this person in a human form, but a new status. As we grow and change from infanthood to adulthood to childhood and teen years and to young adulthood, Justin wasn't going to transition into the next phase of life. He moved on in his incarnation to a whole new realm of embodying his celestial form, that big self. How could I not honor that? I honored all the other changes in Justin's life, and now I was really being put to the test. As his mother, I wanted to continue to show him my support for this next area of growth so he could feel good about it wherever he was. I needed to surrender to the divine order of things, even though it was not the order I would have chosen. I'm a strong believer in destiny, fate, omens, and the telling of one's future by those things. An example of this is when Justin was a young boy. He was about 10 years old, and he was meditating, and he came out of meditation, and he starts telling me about this unbelievable experience. He said that he dove into a body of water, and as he came up out of the water, he could feel the water on his face and the cool breeze washing over his face. He said that this beautiful, divine type of woman appeared to him. He said she was nothing like anything he'd seen in this world. Her eyes were sapphire blue, her skin was smooth as paper, and she was surrounded in jewels. And as he emerged from the water, she gave him the directions to go to the light. He followed her instructions, and he came to a place with heavenly beings. They were surrounding him and welcoming him home. I hadn't thought about that experience, that conversation we had for over 20 years. I had no idea what it meant. Just thought, oh, he's having a nice experience when he gets into the subtler realms of meditation. And it happens. Sometimes it happens. Not all the time to people, but that was an experience he had. What I realize is that instruction from whoever you want to call it, God, Divine Mother, nature, she was giving this young boy the instructions and the guidance that he would need one day to help him let go and have an easier transition from such a sudden death. Remembering this has given me peace. And that's what I was looking for, and that's what I needed. Just knowing that there was that divine guidance there has made the whole experience so much easier, because how could you go against the divine order of things? Justin did what he needed to do, and I love and I honor him for that. Thank you.
Justin, Jay, brother, best friend, born leader, twin soul, nature boy, legend, visionary, change maker, innovator, ahead of the times, all love, all knowing, angel, infinity. Your presence was bigger than life and still is bigger than life. Your unconditional love was bigger than life and still is bigger than life. You lived every second of life to the fullest. Life was a celebration for you, always bringing everyone together to enjoy, let loose, laugh, smile, and indulge in the finer things in life. You were the life of the party. You had a dream and turned it into a reality. You were the life of finest. You represented life to so many. Our brother-sister bond was perfect, untouchable. Undeniable. Okay. You took such good care of me, always wanting the best for me and making sure I had that. You loved me, and I loved you. You nurtured and cared for so many souls here. Mom, Dad, Angelique, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, your dear friends, and your kitties. You wanted to make a difference in this world, make it a better place. Be the change that it needs so much, and you did. I am forever grateful for you, Jay, and the 31 years we got to experience together. The years we spent growing up in Iowa, exploring nature at the B Street house, the very memorable 4 years we lived in Santa Cruz together, and the many visits we made sure to make every year to see each other once I moved to New York. I am most grateful for our recent visit to Fairfield for Mother's Day. Justin and I decided to get out of the house for a bit and go for a drive. We ended up driving all over town, visiting parks, passing by his friends' houses and my friends' houses, and taking a moment to share a story of the memories we made there. Your soul knew it was getting ready to leave, so reliving our epic, wild, full, and vibrant childhood was one last thing you needed to do. I now hold you in my heart closer than ever, Jay. I feel you close. I feel you in nature. You are a branch on our family tree, and you are so much bigger than what I can see. I love you, Jay.
A reading from Love and God by Maharishi School. Love is the most precious gift of God to us. Let us use it for all good. Let our life be full with love. Let us love and be loving and spread grace around us. Let not the din of the world and the thick and thin of life disturb the fullness of love in us. Let us be full of grace and full of light. And in the fullness of love, let us be up and awake to serve the will of God and rise to be of real use to ourselves and to our fellow men. Let the glory of the divine dawn in our love. Let the bliss of divine forgiveness and the light of love permeate our life and transform our life to the eternal life of the divine being. Let love in us spring as the light of the divine, for the divine is all love in its essential nature, and all love is divine in its truthful expression. The divine is fullness of love, and love is fullness of the divine. Love is the light of divinity. It presents the divine in man. Love is the divine life in man. Love in our hearts is the divine in heaven. The divinity of the heaven dwells in our hearts as love. Love in the heart of man is the shrine of God on earth. Blessed are those who carry the shrine of God in the fullness of love in their hearts. And when the drop of love trickles down the melting heart, the angels in heaven run down to count and keep a record. Amen. Jay Gurudev.
Hello. This is my daughter, Mira Malloy. And a couple of Sunday nights ago, Mira's heart was very inspired to write a poem, and she would like to read that for all of you.
Okay. Dang. Okay. This poem is for Justin Malloy. I'm sorry, it's just hard.
It's okay, you can do it. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to do it? You want me to read it? Okay. I try to see him in the clouds, but he is always right here now. He is still sprouting like a grain of wheat. Very soon you will still meet. He wishes to see you from the bottom of his heart, but always believe he is here, never apart. Always remember when he was 8, You know that his visions were very great. Think of his traits, nice and kind, and always very, very strong in the mind. Impressive, he was blazing like a flame. Everyone now will remember his name.
I'm Uncle Ken, and I love Justin Malloy. One of my favorite pictures in this whole room is in the back wall, and he's holding up this fish, this mighty fish. And that smile on that picture is something that he's had all of his life, this beaming energy. And I just love it. I love it. This picture here, all pictures, he's just so much energy, so much life, such a pure heart. I am also in love with the human race and the outpouring of love in this room that this family has received like a tidal wave. We all thank you very much. My parents, Ed and Gloria Malloy, were great role models for me and my family. They went to lots of wakes and lots of funerals. And I remember my mom would come home and she'd say, "Oh my gosh, they looked so great, like they were just sleeping there." I'm like, it's odd. As a child. But what I remember as I got older is that, and then experiencing tragedy and experiencing loss, that when something sudden like this happens, and we had that outpouring of love last night, and this room filled of people today, and weeks of people just praying and texting and messaging and all these kinds of things, this unbearable pain, this, you can't breathe, you can't sleep, your body's sore from just pain. It makes a big difference. So thank you for showing up. That's what my parents showed me, is you just stop what you're doing and you just go. Doesn't matter how far you need to drive. Wear something nice, have a nice story, put on a smile. So Justin's beginning was beautifully recapped by the master of ceremony. It really captured it, and I don't need to rekindle things, but one thing I love about Justin is this big cat body and those giant hugs, right? And I have to tell you, for like the last 5 days, I've been just hearing his laugh. Remember that laugh? It was like a cackle, you know, it was like loud. It just like came right out of his chest. And I miss it and I hear it. And it's not, it doesn't hurt. It feels good to hear it. Justin was really a trailblazer from early on. Trying, like, climbing the trees. I'm like, Ed, he's like over 2 stories. He's fine, he'll be down. He's 4 years old. He's fine. I remember one time we were in the pond over at B Street at Greenfield's old house, and I witnessed the origin of Justin learning how to swim. He just jumped in. Didn't know how to swim. By the end of the picnic, he knew how to swim. That was pretty special. Justin has always been so gorgeous and such a great smile, and he has been a rascal. He was definitely, he had his own ways. And as when he was an adult, it was kind of fun because he would be like, "Oh, this is sushi, but I'd want to get some really good sushi." or this is a really good Pinot Noir, you need to try that. Everything was like, you had to go to the next level for Jay. So, independent, very cool and collected, and he had a wisdom about him that seemed unlikely because of his years. And this is the thing I want to accent on, is his wisdom. Most of us think of wisdom as somebody who's lived a long time and had many experiences, and that is true. But with Justin's, what he did is he took all these experiences and it made him wise. He learned from them. Living in the Midwest, living in a farm town, going to a TM university, being raised by East Coast parents, living in the Midwest. He flew to Japan. I recently learned that he went to Spain and went to, what is it, Spanibus? Yeah. So it sounds like that was a great experience. But the thing about doing these experiences and how you get the wisdom is absorbing it and making it a part of who you are. And sometimes the experiences are not pleasant. And by that, you're not a victim, it's just you kind of take stock and say, well, what did I learn from there? Another thing that wise people do is they see things that are right in front of them. Justin saw opportunities and he made things happen, as Kelly mentioned. The other thing he saw in front of him was Angelique. And he seized the moment. Wise people also meditate, take quiet time to reflect and to refocus. Wise people grow from crisis. About 5 years ago, we had a very close call with Justin, and we thought we lost him. It was a miracle that he came out of that. And from that crisis came a renewed energy and a renewed focus. And we were so happy to have him on the other side of that experience. Wise people are tolerant, and Justin was that. He was compassionate. He had a very big heart. It was very easy to feel that and see that, and to see the outpouring of love from his friends who traveled from all over the place. That is very, very evident. Justin had a clear head and a strong mind. He had a big heart. In closing, I would like to say that wisdom is not just found in older people. Sometimes young has wisdom beyond his years. I wish all of you here today much thanks. I want to thank Justin, J-Man, for sharing his wisdom and love and laughter, love of life, for blessing us all, blessing my family with all of his bigger-than-life energy. I pledge to keep your memory bright in my heart. I love you, Justin, and I miss you, and I will see you again.
I'm Ellen, Justin's godmother. It was such an honor that many years ago, Vicki and Ed asked me to be Justin's godmother. When Justin entered my life in this way, he became a treasure in my heart. That treasure was a marvel, because Justin was more than any particular quality. He is a depth, a silence, a powerful, sweet, deep strength that permeated him and gave momentum to all of his focused, powerful attention for success and joy in life as he grew older. This treasure of Justin's depth has been in my heart from the moment of attending his beautiful home birth, watching him grow as a child, always loving his backyard and nature, teaching him to meditate, and watching him grow into manhood. During the very last moments of his life, when Vicki called and said he was in critical condition, I sat and closed my eyes and went so deep into the sublime depth that Justin really is. All permeating, sublime, universal silence, deep nourishment in a concentrated state, love and expansive peace that was so subtle yet so tangible everywhere. I did not want to open my eyes. In this moment, a nugget of pure gold came into my heart. I felt Justin's love, the light of Justin's beautiful soul in concentrated form in my heart. Justin's essence, a powerful moving force, golden and sweet. That depth inside Justin was the basis for the powerful moving force that he is. That force, along with his amazing spiritual parents, exceptionally devoted sister, aunts, uncles, family, deep friendships, and cherished girlfriend, was the basis for his confidence that attracted even more goodness to him. He had a charisma that attracted great attainments in life. Now, when Justin comes to my awareness, I feel a deep confidence fill me and give me courage and influence the way I approach life. The treasure of Justin goes on. And two little things that I thought of later that I would just like to say is that Justin's kindness, like Ken was saying, was so wise and deep and expansive that I feel like he touched us even before he left. I hadn't seen Justin since the previous Mother's Day. I texted back and forth with him a few times. He was always in my heart. But the day before he passed, he called his mama, Vicki, and I was there, and I got to talk with him for a few minutes. And to me, this is a huge gift and treasure that Justin gave, because now I can hear his voice clearly in my soul, his just strong kindness of Justin. I really appreciate that treasure, Justin. I also wanted to say, I really recommend having godparents, because you get to share that love for the child and for the one that is godparenting that child. It's something, no particular experience, but it's like you have the family, then you have your extended family, and you have something even bigger than that. And it must give confidence to the child. Like with Mitra and Jai and my children, their godparents, Vicki and Ed, and it gives them just such a warm, good feeling that they're loved beyond their family in a deep way. So I just wanted to thank you, Justin, for being in my life, for being a treasure in my heart from beginning to end, and I am always loving you. God bless.
From this point on, we're going to hear from a series of Justin's closest friends who will recount to us their adventures. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but my recollection is that the first three are sisters in love, mischief, and adventure. So you guys, come on up.
My name is Allie Berman. I was a good friend of Justin's and was lucky enough to live in one of those houses that Jamie mentioned was shared with Kelly, Jay, and I. So I'm going to read a couple words, and we'll see how this goes. Jay was my chosen family. He pushed me to my limits as a teen, but became a trusted confidant in my 20s. His charisma attracted people to him and kept them close to him. He was a loyal friend, brother, son, and entrepreneur. When Jay passed, or as I used to call him, Malloy, my eyes were truly opened to how big and profound his impact was, not only on me and on you, but on those outside of this community. I want to read just a few comments from his business Instagram page when they found out about his passing. The first one said, "Though I never got a chance to meet Jay, his work in the field was known by us thousands of miles away. R.I.P." Jay was super smart and positive. He always had nothing but words of encouragement. He obviously was in the cutting edge of an industry, in a space where a lot of people just talk and do nothing. He did exactly what he said he would. My sincerest condolences go out to Jay, family, and friends. I know this is an incredibly tough time. He was an incredible person that will be missed by everyone that knew him. Jay was our champion. We share our love, respect, and sadness with Jay's family and our community. He will be missed indefinitely. His contributions to the world were beyond imagination, and it brings hard reality to understand his absence on this incredible soul moves on. Peace be with you. Your energies will last forever because we will never allow your memories to fade. You are a pioneer, a trailblazer, leaving the blueprint to success. Thank you for all you have contributed. Rest in power, Jay. As a friend, a business partner, and so much more, you pushed the boundaries in this industry. You are a born creator and innovator. Since our early farm to our recent discussions about licensing, you built something special and it will live on forever. Many people leave this life unfulfilled. You were in Forbes, and Finest went from 10,000 to 90,000 followers in a year, all organically. You left a legacy at such a young age. You were building something special and so organically. I am sad and smiling at the same time. Sad we won't ever get to have friendly conversations or talk business strategy, but happy that you left such an impact on so many people, including myself. You did everything you were supposed to do, and gracefully. Rest up, King. We will meet again. I love you, Jay.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. Justin was one of my closest friends. For as long as I can remember, Jay was my family, an unspoken bond that we all had from the beginning. If you were one of the lucky ones to have Jay's love, you felt worthy, special, and part of something. He was a true leader and lived life to the fullest. From the time he was a little boy to adulthood, Jay lived the life he wanted. He never compromised for anyone or anything. The memories that I was privileged enough to share with him were magical. Oftentimes, it felt like we were all in a movie when we were together, a bunch of kids experiencing life. He made me laugh like no one else. He was the heart of our group. I admired Justin, and being in his presence pushed me to be a better person. My love and friendship will never die. Jay, we love you, and we will keep your memory alive. Probably should have gone first. Jay knew that I absolutely hated public speaking. I'm going to try to get through this poem that I wrote for him. You are the coast redwood that casts shade on the crooked highway, your home. You lead us to change in gilded spirit, big leaf maple when we can't hide how much we love each other. This life, celebration, the allegiance to you, how you saw us. We follow this friendship with no dim, unbroken. In flower, in our hearts, we remember.
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Angelique. And I lost my note. And I was deeply in love with Jay. Oh no.
Where'd it go?
I lost it. It's back, sorry. Lincoln and Sarah's wedding day was our first date, and I wore this dress. Thank you both for, wherever you are, thank you both for letting us share that special day with you. We still talked about that wedding, even recently. It was epic. From that day on, in Jay's words, we were inseparable. Jay and I had this idea that if we could make it to one day past our anniversary, then that meant we were solid, we were good, and we were real. So when it was time, we celebrated 1 year and 1 day. Mm-hmm. It was, we were really looking forward to 2 years and 1 day, and we were so close. I would give the rest of my years to spend 1 more day with him. I wasn't lucky enough to have him in my life for a long time, but the time we did have was full of unconditional love and laughter. We had so much fun, and it felt like a lifetime. We spent a lot of our time together on the road. I was his co-pilot, he said. We'd talk about everything and anything. We'd listen to strictly 90s hip-hop while I shoveled handfuls of popcorn into his mouth while he drove. 2 for him, 1 for me. He was so hungry all the time. I'd hand feed him everything from pickles to pad thai. He would hold my hand every night while we fell asleep, and every morning when we woke up. He'd smile at me, so bright, and say, "Hi, my love." He'd call me tiny baby, and we had a song that I'd like to sing for you. Don't laugh, it's very embarrassing. He'd start, "Tiny, tiny baby," and I'd repeat, "Tiny, tiny baby." And he'd say, "Little tiny baby," and I'd say, "I'm your little baby." We never made it to a second verse because we were just laughing by then. He had an amazing laugh. His warmth, his kindness, his kiss, these are just a few of the things and moments that I'll miss the most. 4 weeks ago, we moved into a house together with our cat, Jade. She's our baby. We got furniture, houseplants, and we put things up on the walls. We were so excited for our future, and we were really happy. We were making a home, and he was my home. Jay gave his big, beautiful heart to me, and I feel so honored that he trusted me with it. I know that wasn't easy for him, and I am endlessly grateful. He made me better, and I learned so much from him. He left all his amazing friends and family to me, his sister, who I will cherish forever, and I have to step up for him now, and I hope we all do the same. I cannot and will never fill Jay's shoes. He's a big guy, it's just not happening. But I'm stronger than I look, and I will carry his heart with me for the rest of my journey. With his heart and my own, I will spread our love and light. I will be here for all of you that need me. You can lean on me, I promise. I know he made an impact on all of your lives, and I can assure you, you made an impact on his as well. Thank you for helping him become the incredible man that I fell so deeply in love with. Thank you for welcoming me with open arms, and I'm so excited to get to know you more and have you all in my life. I love you, Jay. Thank you for loving me.
Jay was my brother, a real-world Superman, the life of the party, someone I was inspired to be like, and somebody I love deeply. This is truly a tragic time for us all. I offer my love and support to everyone here, and especially all of Jay's family. Instead of focusing on what a loss this is, I want to speak on the things that I loved about him the most. Jay was a natural talent at bringing people together. From the early days at Ed and Vicki's, when we were all drawn to be around him, to teenage adventures, driving around and exploring the Iowa countryside, to playing spin the bottle in the shack. If you're around Jay, you're having a blast. When he left our Fairfield nest, he didn't shy away from the world. He had big dreams and goals and made sure that he created a family of friends wherever he went. He laid roots on picturesque ocean sides and beautiful mountaintops. On our excursions, he was always the leader of the pack, taking everyone to the most delicious restaurants. And on special occasions, he could be seen downtown Santa Cruz with his shirt off in the middle of the dance floor. He always provided a special space for people to enjoy life with him. Some of my favorite people I've met outside of the Fairfield community were meetings through Jay. Matt, Lee, Eric, Ricky, May, Pete, Shay, Christian, and anybody else that I'm missing. I'm so grateful that Jay brought us together. My memories with you, whether brief or many, have truly been magical, and I look forward to keeping you all close to my life. Jay was also extremely dedicated to his business. Through passionate hard work and genius intellect, he pushed boundaries and led the way in revolutionizing a forward-thinking industry. Jay met with everyone from famous rappers to foreign princes who all wanted to be a part of his vision. Watching him live his dream while changing the world for the better has been inspiring to everyone he came into contact with. Ed, Vicki, Kelly, you are a perfect family, and you have been my second family growing up. You all mean the world to Sarah and me. Ed, I will never forget going on snowboarding trips with you and Jay and debating politics or whatever else came up. As mayor of this town and father to these two incredible children, you have been a father figure to all of us. Vicki, you kept a beautiful home for us to enjoy and kept the fridge and cabinets stocked with delicious food always. We all know how much your boy loved to eat. Both of your love for your children is so clear and palpable. Kelly, you and Jay were the only pair of siblings in our wedding. You and Jay shared a beautiful bond, and you are an incredible sister and friend. Sarah and I feel so lucky to have been included into your beautiful family over the years, and we will always be here to support you in the same way you have supported us. Jay was who he was because of you three, and we all love and respect you deeply. Angelique, watching you and Jay's relationship blossom over the last 2 years has been something that everybody has been waiting for. Jay didn't give away his love easily by any means, and you created an environment for him to relax and open his heart to you so sweetly. You are now and forever a part of Jay's circle. We love you and we have your back. I once had a session with my relationship/life coach / friend Aaron Steinberg, and he asked me what I wanted in life. I responded simply that I wanted to be like Jay. He laughed and reminded me that Jay was basically 1 in a million, and everybody wanted to be like Jay. But we probably had to find happiness being ourselves. Reflecting back on all the funny, deep, loving, incredible memories I got to share with Justin and all the stories to tell, I think the most important thing to remember is how he connected us all, and how he always found joy in taking care of everyone around him. Jay would want us to stay connected and take care of each other during this time and into the future. So let's make a promise together here and now to stay in each other's lives, drink good wine, eat good food, and live life to the fullest with Justin in our hearts and in his honor.
My name is Jesse Pollico, and there's just a million things you could say about a guy like Justin, and I didn't write any of them down, so I'm just going to wing it. I wanted to tell a story that to me is representative of the beginning of a really incredible friendship, and it's the moment I look back on and I know that from that time on, we were going to be best friends. We were having a party at Lincoln Garner's house. Strange, I know. We'd only been hanging out for like maybe a week at the time. It was the beginning of summer. And Justin was holding court in the living room with his shirt off. Proselytizing about something, I don't know what it was, but he had everyone's attention. And we were drinking. And I remember looking at him, and something came over me. And I just ran as fast as I could, and I tackled him across the coffee table, and a fight ensued. We fought for what seemed like an hour. It probably wasn't that long, but it was insane. We were punching each other, choking each other. We fought all the way up the stairs and then all the way back down the stairs. People were screaming, trying to rip us off each other, throwing water on us, hitting us with ice cubes. Eventually it got broken up. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, the next day we were covered in bruises and rug rash and scrapes all over our body. And I was like, Jay, remember when we got in a fight last night? And he was like, yeah, dude, what was that about? And I was like, I don't know, but that was awesome, right? And we were best friends ever since then. And we never, ever, ever got in a fight, ever after that. We never argued. We were never mad at each other. Never even raised our voice. I mean, he was my brother. He was always there for me. He was a great friend. He loved his family. I know he loved talking to his mom on the phone, which he did frequently. And I know he really looked up to and admired his father. And I've never known any brother and sister to be closer than Jay and Cal. Perfect family if there ever was one. And Angelique, seeing Jay fall in love with you was really special. He's been the center of my life for 15 years, and getting to see him be in love was a real treat. I mean, life of the party, stand-up guy, these are terms that Justin embodied to the fullest. He was the best man I've ever known, and probably the best man I ever will know. And he brought so many people together. I mean, there's maybe 24 people in here who've never set foot in this town before. I haven't been here myself in a decade. But here we all are for Jay. And he would have been happy. He'd be happy to see us all here. Thank you.
You know, a couple days before Lincoln's wedding, Jay was telling me how nervous he was about giving a speech at that. He was the best man, and I feel you right now, brother. Yeah, Jay was, he was my brother. He really was. He came into my life a little bit later than some folks here, but we were instantly best friends, transcended to a family relationship very quickly. We met in California at Cabrillo College with Kelly, and we met in a wine class, ironically. And I was also in school for the culinary arts. And yeah, our relationship started in the very early stages of my cooking career. And I think Jay loved that. And him and Kelly used to come over for dinner all the time. On Sundays, I would cook dinners for them, and I would experiment with new cooking techniques and ingredients, and some dishes were delicious, and some to me were inedible. And Jay ate them all. And not only did he eat them all, he was so honest about it. And he would be like, man, this is so dry. Or just like, this tastes like cardboard, Eric. But he would still eat it. And I really appreciated that about him. His honesty, his openness, the way he could connect with somebody, even when telling them their food is garbage. You know, he was honest, and he had that quality that just drew people to him. And it was inspiring to be around. It made me want to be a better person. And I think he had that with everybody. He connected with everybody on such a unique, connected, deep way that words can't even describe. And coming out here to Fairfield, Iowa for the first time, which he's always talked about, I'm getting to meet a lot of people that I've never met and see where Jay grew up and see pictures, and through all of you, through all the memories you have, the connections that you've had with him, that he had with all of us, I'm getting to know him so much more. And I really feel like I knew that man so well, and being here, I'm just humbled by how much there is to learn in life about people that you think you know everything about. And, you know, through all of us, through all of our memories, because we all had different experiences with him, you know, through all those memories and experiences and love, you know, Jay's gonna live on. I was gonna read a little passage from Prophet Khalil Gibran. Then Almitra spoke, saying, we would ask now of death. And he said, you would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath the trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die, but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing, but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance. I feel like our journey with Jay in the physical form has ended, but our journey with Jay in the spiritual form and in the ethers is just beginning, and I'm very excited for it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bo Keen, and I had the pleasure of knowing this man. I don't know how to sum up a lifetime of friendship and experience in a few short words, but this is going to be my attempt at that. Justin and I lived across the creek from one another, and we had very different lives. We were different ages, had different upbringings, to say the least. I had 5 siblings, he had 1. At first glance, there were more differences between us than similarities, yet somehow we fit together. Like opposites attract, our lives were drawn together, and despite our differences, Justin and I found a refuge in one another. Justin taught me almost more than anyone I know what it means to be known and to know somebody, to love unconditionally. And over the last 15 years, not a day has gone by that I haven't thought about Jay. And it actually brings me a huge comfort to know that a day is not going to go by for the next 15 years that I won't think of him. Those of you who know, Justin and I shared more together than most people can hope to experience in a lifetime. Good times, hard times, adventures, struggle, success, love, loss, birth, and now death. I don't know what my future looks like without you and Justin. But I know that the love that we shared will never be lost. I feel enormously lucky to have been so close with him over all these years, but even more lucky to have shared so much with him so recently. Our lives are linked together, stronger than death can tear apart. And if you guys can bear with me a little longer, I had something that I wanted to read from Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. Something startles me where I thought I was safest. I withdraw from the still woods I loved. I will not go now on the pastures to walk. I will not strip my clothes from my body to meet my lover, the sea. I will not touch the flesh to the earth as to another flesh to renew me. Oh, how can the ground not sicken? How can you be alive, you growths of spring? How can you flourish health, you blood of herbs, roots, orchids, and grain? Are we not continually putting distempered corpses into you? Is not every continent worked over and over with sour dead? Where have you disposed of these carcasses, us drunkards and gluttons of so many generations? Where have you drawn off all the foul liquid and meat? I do not see any of it upon you today. Or perhaps I am deceived. I will run a furrow with my plow. I will press my spade through the sod and turn it up underneath. I am sure I shall expose some of that foul meat. But behold this compost. Behold it well. Perhaps every mite has once formed a sick person. And yet behold, the grass covers the prairies. The bean bursts noiselessly through the mold in the garden. The delicate spear of the onion pierces upwards. The apple buds cluster together on the apple branches. The resurrection of wheat appears with pale visage out of its graves. The tinge awakens over the willow tree and the mulberry tree, and the he-bird carols mornings and evenings while the she-bird sits on their nest. The young of poultry break through hatched eggs. The newborn animals appear. A calf is dropped from the cow, a colt from the mare. And out of this hill faithfully rises the potato's dark green leaves. Out of its hill rises yellow maize stalks. The summer growth is innocent and disdainful above all those strata of sour dead. And what chemistry! that the winds are not really infectious, that this is no cheat, this transparent green wash of sea which is so amorous after me, that it is safe to allow it to lick my naked body all over with its tongue, that it will not endanger me with its fevers that have been deposited themselves in it, that all is clean forever and forever, and that the cool drink from the well tastes so good, that blackberries are this flavorful and juicy, that the fruit of the apple orchard and the orange orchard and the melons, grapes, peaches, plums, none of them will poison me, that when I recline on the grass, I do not catch any disease, though probably every spear of grass rises out of what was once a catching disease. Now I am terrified of the earth. Is it that calm and patient? It grows such sweet things out of such corruptions. It turns harmlessly and stainlessly on its axis with such endless succession. It distills such exquisite winds out of such infused fetor. It renews with such unwitting looks its prodigal annual sumptuous crops. It gives such divine materials to men and accepts such leavings from them at last. Thank you.
Well, my kids had some great friends and a great extended family. And the response from this community to Vicki and I and to our whole family has just been absolutely amazing. It's like huge arms have been surrounding us since the moment we learned of Justin's fate. And that nourishment and that quality of concern that you all expressed has been what's really held us together in a way that is deeply, deeply loving, deeply, deeply spiritual in its connection and the bonds that we all share together. We really understand them more meaningfully now. We understand what those real community bonds are and how important they are to each other. So thank you all so, so, so very much for your extensions to us and for your love. And at times it's overwhelming. And Vicki and I look at each other and go, oh my God, the next person that dies, we better be ready. Because we owe some people. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing that it has taught us as well. And the immediate decisions by so many close people to our family and to our dear son, Justin, who made immediate decisions to come to Fairfield no matter what was going to happen, what we were going to do, what they were going to put themselves through, what they were going to see. It was just so inspiring to us to have all of you here, and again, especially my immediate family, my wonderful sisters and nephews and brothers, and it's just been an extraordinary time, and they have really appreciated meeting everyone in town and expressing their sentiments as well. Jamie, thank you so much for being our great host today, and and for reminding us about this particular tradition where that sorrow and joy come together and in a display in almost a pageantry way, each finding their way to express that sentiment that they want to convey to their community and to their family, and to let them know that either they're all right, they understand, they have greater understanding now, or that more will come when it's time. So it was interesting because what I chose was the phone call that I missed with Justin. And, Justin was like me. I used my windshield time, that's just the long drives, the hour or 2 hour drives, to get on the hands-free phone and make calls and catch up with people. And Justin, loved that too. So we would have long calls when he would have a long drive or when I have a long drive. And no matter what we're doing on the other end, we were connected. And that was the time where it was kind of random. I wanted to definitely get caught up on what he was doing and what was important to him or what had happened. And then we touch a little politics and a little sports and a little family, and it was nourishing. It was just something that we did. So as Ellen, his great godmother, described, that on Saturday he happened to call. And he called Vicki, and he just loved his mom. He just absolutely loved his mom. That relationship was just so strong because she was a 1,000% supporter of wherever he was in life, as she expressed. And so he was, he put in a call to Mom, and Ellen was there, and I was not around, and basically he said, I'll call Dad tomorrow. So Sunday, we had a couple of things planned in the morning, texted with him in the morning, and then was expecting to talk with him either in the afternoon or the evening. That didn't come, so I owe him a phone call, and here's my phone call. Hey Jay, how's it going? No, wait, I know, you're just chilling. For real, right? Well, look, I missed you Sunday night, so I wanted to call and tell you we're good and taking care of each other. The outpouring of love has been tsunami-like, really amazing. You made a big impact on everyone for sure, and you attracted some fine people into your life who are all here. And that little podunk town you grew up in really turned out for you. You deserve it. And Jesse told the story about the fight. That's the first time we heard it. Loved this, absolutely loved it. I don't know where we were the next day, not noticing all the rug burns and the bruises, but I know you don't like this kind of attention, but that's what you get for leaving. We have to connect with you somehow, and that's what we're doing today. Hey, the NBA free agency was crazy last week. Kawhi and Paul George went to the Clippers, and Kyrie and KD went to the Nets. The Dubs are hurting next year, just when they move into their new arena in San Fran, but they're still better off than my pathetic Knicks. And how's your game up there, Jay? Shooting 99% from three? I know you're dunking the ball. We got to see your place last week. It was awesome. And we got to meet Jade. What a great cat, a special breed, a Bengal. She was the feline version of you, agile, spirited, energetic, curious, playful, mischievous, and powerful with a great presence. She'll be well taken care of. We got some great pictures back from Steve and Karen from that trip we did to Wyoming back in 1998. Remember the bison walked up to our cabin at Yellowstone? Even you got freaked out. We took a great hike with the Rubens and Bermans and swam in that freezing river, and oh yeah, that rock wall you climbed while I videoed you falling? Bad dad that day. But you were an amazing climber. I thought you were ready for El Capitan. No, that was another trip in another park. We had some great times at altitude. You were always Mr. Adventure, whether small or large, always up for what's next. You shared that with everyone because your heart was big enough to take everyone along and everyone trusted you. So although we don't understand your timing, we do understand you are going where you were called. We support that. Remember, you told me that story about being at a party your first year at Whittier College, and some guy was trying to impress some girls with his spiritual vibe and was talking about the Bhagavad Gita and had the story all wrong. And you butt in and corrected him. And he said, how do you know anything about it? And he said, well, I studied at the Maharishi School and could read it in the original Sanskrit. Classic, like a scene from Good Will Hunting. Did you get her number? Indulge me here for a minute because I want to share some stuff that inspired me while reading Maharishi's translation of the Bhagavad Gita. There is so much wisdom in those pages that I had to go there when you left. Chapter 2, verse 17 reads, "Know that to be indeed indestructible, by which all this is pervaded. None can work the destruction of this immutable being. Maharishi goes on to explain that omnipresent being and the individual spirit are not two separate entities. Being reflects off the individual spirit and gains that level of unlimited eternal being. I feel you have gained that in your life, and your spirit has those qualities of unlimited eternal being, like self-awareness, intelligence, creativity, connectedness, happiness, and love. I know that because that was all our common experience with you. That's what we all saw in you. That's why you influenced so many new friends to get on a spiritual path. You lived it and you embodied it naturally. So as your spirit goes on and you take all that you have gained and reach the highest level, as you always have, and lead the way again for us. I'll call you again when I'm about to join you, and we'll have a lot of catching up to do, for real. Later, Jay. Love you, Dad. Now, my wife wanted us to end this on a happy note and on a note that Justin would appreciate for us to send him off with just some love and applause. So I'm going to ask everyone now to please stand up and applaud our dear son Jay's life.